Hello and welcome. We are broadcasting live from GlobalNutriPreneurs, the premier global gateway and unified operating system transforming the future of the global agri-food economy. Today, the global food system stands at a critical crossroads. While the demand for functional health, wellness, and nutritional security is expanding exponentially, early-stage innovators face massive roadblocks, fragmented supply chains, opaque cross-border regulations, and a staggering volume of unvetted noise that isolates brilliant founders from institutional capital. The cost of this friction isn't just measured in lost revenue. It is measured in the unacceptably high rate of global food waste and systematic nutritional insecurity. Promoted by the Global Council for Agri-Food Trade and Innovation and the Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade, Global Nutripreneurs was engineered to dismantle these barriers. We are moving decisively past passive business directories, powered by a robust digital operating system featuring AI-driven founder-mentor matching, automated regulatory compliance hubs, and an integrated virtual deal room. We are systematically transforming high-potential ventures into scalable investment-grade nutri-business. Our ecosystem operates across 6 integrated strategic pillars, uniting a dedicated global R&D network, shared physical infrastructure via decentralized common facility centers, and an ESG-compliant trade and investment marketplace. Right now, our team is executing a massive global pipeline evaluation, reviewing over 10,000 agriculture, food, and nutrition business across more than 150 countries. Our mission is clear: to uncover the elite innovators shaping the next era of wellness, unlock friction-free global market access, and actively drive a 40% reduction in global post-harvest food losses. Today, as part of our Women in Food, Agriculture, and Nutrition Forum series, we are mapping out the blueprints for the agriculture revolution. Joining us is a leader whose work sits at the very frontier of the transformation. Please welcome to the global stage our guest for today. Dr. Sowmini Sunkara is an exceptional agri-professional and social entrepreneur who brilliantly bridges the worlds of advanced science and sustainable business strategy. Holding a PhD in biotechnology with over 15 years of rich experience in genetic engineering and molecular research, she chose an impact-driven entrepreneurial journey over traditional corporate paths, dedicating her career to agricultural value chains, farmer producer organizations, and rural livelihood development. Her operational leadership spans 3 progressive enterprises: Agrighar Services, Womenergy Association of Incubators in Manufacturing, and WEAIM, MAT, complemented by a former executive role at Agrighar Sustainable Food Tech Foundation, championing natural farming across Telangana. An alumnus of prestigious programs including IIM Bangalore's Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women Initiative, she has been recognized as a National Entrepreneurship Award finalist by MSDE, an international panelist at the Global Forum for Food and Agriculture, and a master venture builder who successfully federated thousands of self-help group women into flourishing market-ready agriculture collectives. Thank you for joining us today to help shape the future of global nutripreneurs. I now request you to proceed with your presentation. Over to you.
Thank you, Grishika, for the warm introduction. It's a wonderful opportunity to be present here and also share my experiences and my journey here. Thank you, GCPIT, for giving this opportunity to. This would be a great opportunity for us to reiterate on what we are building. Our mission and vision is building sustainable rural food ecosystems, where we are converting the rural communities towards the global impact. As a co-founder and managing director of Agrighar, VM and VMAT Global, we have facilitated these in the form of an ecosystem where we would love to work. We are working with these rural communities to ensure that we are reaching to the global world. As introduced, I have a strong academic foundation with a PhD in biotechnology. And I have been the co-founder and the managing director of the 3 organizations, which I will be briefing about in a while. Agrighar being the center of everything. This is an ecosystem where it develops the agri-entrepreneurship as a base, and we aim as a center for women entrepreneurship. And the VMAT Global is a connecting place for these women entrepreneurs to connect to the global markets, each targeting a distinct layer of the rural food value chain. Our vision is very clear, and we have a purpose-driven mission where we advocate women and youth to come into agriculture and convert them into entrepreneurship, where we are working at the critical intersection of agriculture, nutrition, and long-term sustainability. The core commitment we are addressing is the building a sustainable rural entrepreneurship ecosystems that convert smallholder farmers and rural women into confident, capable business owners, creating a lasting community wealth from the ground up. We are trying to create a sustainable solution because when we train these farmers to come into entrepreneurship and they become the players in the market, they can define the price, and which is the bigger advantage what we will be taking forward. So our vision is creating a future where rural communities are not passive participants in the food economy, but they are the most powerful drivers. As said, we are concentrating on women as entrepreneurs because every rural woman gains the skill, tools, and networks to run a thriving food enterprise. We are concentrating on these farmers as stakeholders, mostly concentrating on this farmer producer organizations because they have already collectivized into organizations, and now they are looking forward for solutions to come into business. So where our Agrighar plays a major role here, where we convert these producers to move beyond the value chain, growing to an actively participating in value addition and profit sharing. This in turn, we have a huge impact on the nutritional segment because women as the key decision makers at home decides what they feed to the family. And this by itself, being their entrepreneurs, they are very sure on the product what they are making. And this will help them to also ensure that their family is fed with the right, proper nutritional food. This itself gives us a sustainable growth guided by nutrition, science backed up with the products and environmental responsibility at every step. As in a whole, we want to create the rural wealth creation because when these communities transform from recipients of aid into generators of economic prosperity and food security, this is where the true sustainability works. We are now currently addressing the global challenge. 1/3 of the food is lost or wasted. The commodities what we have been producing from at the producer stage is not being reached to the consumer. And 1/3 of this global food production is falling into a non-systematic manner. So there is a huge gap in connecting these product producers to the consumers. And in fact, the farmers have a very low share in the entire value chain, which is less than 10%. Farmers capture only a fraction of what the consumers pay because they are retaining to only sell the raw produce. They have not come into the next stage of the value addition, whereas the traders and the middlemen take up the raw produce and sell to the manufacturers or the processors, where the bigger stake of the value chain is being shared. This creates a lot of this can be addressed with a lot of efficiency in the system. In fact, which also reduces the risk of almost 70% of risk of youth migration. By connecting these rural communities into the value chain, we are also trying to retain these rural youth who are looking for opportunities to be there. Most of them migrate to Tier 2 or Tier 1 towns or cities just because in search of employment. But if the same opportunities are created back home, they will be interested to retain there. This continue to abandon the agriculture. The one more reason which has been very bothering to me, which has made me to stick onto this mission is there is a lot of risk of agriculture commodity not being available for the future generations. When I realized when a farmer is not ready to contain their next generations into the farming, so the real challenge arises, who is going to produce that? We can talk about many things, many other things. We can talk about many other solutions. But if there is no farmer at the commodity producing stage, so what are we talking about? So this made me realize that where we need to concentrate, the basic need of the value chain, the basic stage of the value chain is being not addressed. So this is what motivated me to be here in the communities, working with the communities, because they are well placed in the areas. If we can actually mobilize them into collectivization and the communities can be targeted for their own value addition, the true wealth is being created in their own villages. And these are going to be the very true economic spots of the entire world. So through this, we also want to ensure that the rural youth are motivated to not be the farmers, but they come as an entrepreneur, which adds a lot of professional touch to them. So that is where Agrighar plays a lot of emphasis and ensure that they are not treated as a farmers, but as a professional who can actually take up their enterprise levels at the rural areas where they have beautiful scope of the entire economy being played within their scope. When we talk about women, women remain critically and underrepresented in agri sector. Even if you are placing a picture of a farmer, it's always a man. But the actual work is done by the women at the farm level, and she understands the crop much more better way. But their representation in agriculture is very less. So here we want to ensure that women get their own value, their own identity in the agriculture segment, and push them into agribusiness. Having their ownership matters a lot because of the lot of systems which we have already been there. Now converting them into a professional organizations or regularized organizations can help them to get into process. And the key factor which plays a major role here is the leadership, which we are working now. Though they produce over 60% of the food in the developing regions, they still have to get that 60% of identity, which is the bigger task which we all have in hand. So why this matters? This has been like a very heart-throbbing issue, which is not addressed to the core areas, because addressing rural food systems is not merely an agriculture issue. It's a humanitarian issue, which is also helping out for the economic development. And it not only addresses the human health, it also addresses the environmental imperative that demands urgent and coordinated action. Because women, as a conscious player, as a uh, human, she understands the need of the health, the nutrition, the sustainability, because she is by genetically she's trained to be the financial manager of the home. She decides what goes into the grocery basket. She decides what needs to be cooked. So she also understands that it is already there in their genetics, but it's only not given the proper channel, and they are not given the proper recognition. So if we are able to tap that potential, that's where the true economic empowerment can happen. We are focusing on nutrition focused agriculture for a reason, because the entire world is now going to be in the frame of like either diabetic, cholesterol, or obese, and all these are becoming a very normal scenarios in the common, the advanced food systems. But if we can address at the core, this can be addressed, and this can be done by just redesigning some food systems around nutritional outcomes rather than yield alone. So most of the universities and all the technologies whom we are talking to the farmers, or the technologies what has been told to farmers, is only talking about the yield, but that doesn't solve the problem. We also need to understand there is a nutritional rich fortified crops are being grown by these communities, where a woman can actually act because there is a personal content life for themselves and for their family. So she owns up the entire process. Thereby, the entire community health is being taken care. And as I said, we are talking about climate resilience, which is going to be the major challenge. In fact, it's a major challenge which we are currently facing. But empowering this community with climate smart practices, which can protect their livelihoods against increasing volatile weather. In fact, converting into a integrated or a regenerative agriculture is the need of the hour today. Leave about organic or any other or agriculture, because the land is being now undermined, and it's losing its potential of growing the crops. When there is no fertile land available, so where are we growing? So we need to address in those fragments, very small, minute fragments. We need to address in those structures too, where again women are the key players there. Then coming to the next stages of like post-production activities, we can reduce post-harvest losses by just investing in the infrastructure and training, which prevents the food from being lost between farm and fork, which also helps them to increase their stake of the entire value chain. This is the prime area where we need to concentrate. May it start be from the warehousing, from the cold storage or the dry storage, or coming to local value addition by adding up processing facilities, the primary processing and the secondary processing facilities combined with the packaging at the community level. This keeps the economic value circulating within the rural economies. So this is a solution which Agrighar brings up to the entire world now, which includes it's an inclusive participated model which ensures that all the communities are involved in the entire value chain, where women being the centric point, both youth and marginalized farmers can have the equitable access to the full benefits of the agribusiness growth. Now, coming to the Agrighar ecosystem. Agrighar is designed as an end-to-end rural enterprise platform connecting every critical node from raw skill development to international market access within one integrated, scalable ecosystem. We have one pilot model which we have developed at Chautupal Industrial Estate, which is a 12,000 square feet facility, which has the entire value chain being addressed. So we start with the post-harvest place where we start with the warehousing. We have all the primary processing and secondary processing machineries being placed there, because no matter what the farmer grows, we will help them to get access to these machineries to ensure that their product is getting value added, either by removing the debris. The value addition starts from removing from the debris in the commodity what they are produced to the final product which you and me are eating. So for this, we have developed an integrated training and a multi-food processing facility near Hyderabad. And this is completely a replicable and a scalable model, where we help these farmers or the farmer entities or these women to come and learn about the processing fragment. So we have hands-on training as our USP, where we teach them on how to operate these machineries, thereby addressing their skill levels so that once they go back to their communities, they can operate by their own. They don't have to depend on systems like Agrighar or any others. Rather, they go back and implement those structures with the confidence level what they gain from our system. Beyond that, the food processing, as I said, no matter what the farmer grows, if it's a growing rice paddy, it will be converted into rice flour, and the value-added products in the pipeline. If they're growing millets, they have a millet ravas, millet flours, millet instant mixes, ready to eat, ready to cook products. All the entire chain has been traced out in Agrighar as on date. We have all the products developed. We do have our own brand, Nesha, which is coming up now. We are picking up on the branding and marketing stage, where we are looking funds to raise, also to expand globally. First, we will start with the nation and then go to global markets. More and more, we want to have the market access of the global markets, because now the entire world is looking towards India as a major producer. Gone are those days where we are being the major buyers. Now are the days where we convert them being a major producers. So each stage is deliberately sequenced to build on the last, whereby we are ensuring rural entrepreneurs graduate from capacity building into fully market-linked food businesses with durable competitive advantage. The Agrighar model is now working on a shared infrastructure model where we promote manufacturing as a service, where we, as I mentioned in my previous minute, I was telling about a multi-food processing unit. Now, this can be actually replicated through these FPOs by forming a multi-food processing clusters and a shared manufacturing facilities, which dramatically lower entry barriers for smallhold farmers or as entrepreneurs, giving them access to industrial grade equipment without prohibitive capital investment. We should also understand that the farmers doesn't have the capital investments. So we need to ensure that we develop a lot of synergies between the convergences and synergies between the available government schemes, grants, and the CSR funds, where we are now pushing up through the Agrighar Foundation. We also have technology access, the state-of-the-art processing tools available on a shared use basis, where we also train on the compliance part because this adds value to the product what they are selling to the communities, the consumers. Without a proper guidance on food safety certifications, labeling, and regulatory requirements, the entire effort goes in vain. So we have our own internal product development, which hands-on with a lot of R&D support to create market-ready, shelf-stable, and food products. Coming to VM. VM has been a Women Entrepreneurs Association where we are concentrating again on agribusiness and creating an impact marketplace, which is a holistic human development program designed to transform rural women into confident, self-sustaining business leaders. We train them from entrepreneurship training, where a structured curricula covering business planning, production, management, and food enterprise fundamentals are tailored for rural contexts. We provide mentoring programs through our Start It Scale It program, which is a one-on-one and peer mentorship from successful women entrepreneurs who have navigated similar challenges, thereby enabling them not to make the same mistake and save a lot of time. Because today, if you ask me what is the costliest thing, I tell that the time is the costliest factor, which nobody is concerned about. If you can save few years of your entrepreneurship journey by just giving them the tricks and small tips of the failures of the previous entrepreneurs, they are saving a lot of time. This is how we connect with one-to-one mentorships and everything. Beyond this, we are working on financial literacy of these women because they also need to understand where they have to invest. And we also ensure that we keep the practical training, including their bookkeeping, how to make the price of a product, how to access the funds, how to use those funds in a proper format. And all these training sessions will be handled by the VM, Start It Scale It Cell, and the programs which are following up. They need to have a financial discipline for sure, which can help them to grow big and play a major role in the global markets. We have a lot of leadership development programs which are helping them to build these advocacy skills, and we are working on the community influence because this is now the time to work on at this level. And a proper governance system which can capacitate these women to lead, but not just participate in the rural development. VMAT Global is the marketing wing of the entities where we connect rural producers to domestic retail shelves and international export markets through strategic branding, packaging, and distribution partnerships. While we're talking about branding, we craft compelling brand identities for rural food products that resonate with the conscious urban and global consumers. We do have a lot of community networking events happening where we ensure that these rural communities participate in these events and present their products, thereby building the confidence levels of these women organizations or women entrepreneurs, help us to also present themselves in a better format with the better consumers. As everyone knows, how you package your food determines the value of your product. So we need to ensure that these communities are trained on safety measures and the compliances of food safety as per food safety guidelines. And they need to ensure that their packaging is ready to put on the shelves. Like any product, like any global brand in the retail markets, we wish to see these community products to be placed on the retail shelves, which can be the solutions that meet both modern retail and export compliance standards. We are working on the retail distribution with established retail channel partnerships, bringing rural products to high footfall urban and modern trade outlets. We have our own e-commerce platform under VMart, which is a digital marketplace presence, making these communities to have a presence on the online segment to enabling this D2C direct to consumer sales with national and global reach at scale. We will be exploring export opportunities in very near future, where we connect to international buyers and export protocols, unlocking premium markets for traditionally sourced Indian foods. The value chain approach. By integrating every link from the farmer's field to the export container, this value chain approach is the right model which ensures maximum value and which can be retained within the rural communities rather than extracted by the intermediaries. The current stage is where the farmers are remaining at raw produce at farm gate. But from there, if we connect to the processing infrastructure, where simple cleaning, sorting, and grading facilities given, the transformation is at a different scale. But when you ensure that these come into a secondary processing level and it is packaged into foods package where it is safe and retail ready packaging, the advance is multiplied. When it becomes a brand, it itself creates an identity for these communities. And when you tell a story related to all the process, it sells by itself. Connecting to the retail and the export markets is in the process where we would look forward for the domestic modern trade and local markets to adapt the products from these brands and thereby connecting later to the export markets. We not only address few major issues here, we also help them to generate stronger economies. We are addressing the reduction of post-harvest losses, where the waste is minimized through timely processing and cold chain integration. We are ensuring that these farmers earn 3 to 5 times more when selling processed goods versus raw commodities. We also ensure that this is uh, falling into the nutritional standards because nutrient dense products reach consumers in formats they demand and can afford. Thereby, we are creating a stronger rural economy, which is having a multiplier effect, which grows as a processing jobs and enterprise revenues which circulate locally. Our key focus areas fall into four fragments here. The product portfolio is deliberately anchored in India's ancient food wisdom, reimagined for modern nutritional science, where we are targeting the contemporary and authentic dishes because the consumers are preferring to have the age old recipes to come to their level of availability and ensuring that this reaches the global market demand is again a very big challenge ahead for us. We're concentrating on millets because they are climate resilient crops. They are nutrient dense ancient grains positioned as the cornerstone of India's food future, and it has a growing global superfood trend. So if we can make these millets as a common food, as per National Institute of Nutrition, every individual is supposed to have one meal at least a day to ensure that they remain healthy and have a longer lifespan. So we have started a concept called one millet meal, which is the mandate of the government of India, and we are looking forward to work with national institutes also. We are also, as mentioned, the traditional foods actually play a key role here, where we are preserving culinary heritage while upgrading the processing facilities and ensuring that the food is safe and also have the proper shelf life to meet the modern retail standards. Yes, we are concentrating on ready to cook products as on date because they are convenient and portion ready formats. We are making in these small formats that capture the growing urban and diaspora demand for authentic, healthy home cooking. We are also looking forward to expand into dehydrated and functional foods where the extended shelf life of these dehydrated produce actually save a lot of farmers distress, and these are nutraceutical grade, making them functional foods targeting preventive health conscious consumers. We are connecting women as change makers because when women lead, communities thrive. We have decades of global evidence which confirms this, and when the investments goes into a woman empowerment or a woman entrepreneurship, they generate outsized returns for entire communities, not just individual households. Not only creating the rural economy, they have stronger families because they reinvest a higher portion of their income into children's education, health, and household nutrition. Because the nutritional indices also has to be ensured while talking about economic empowerment, and women plays a key role there. when there is a healthier community and when it is led by female entrepreneurs, they prioritize nutritional quality and local food diversity will be the major target, thereby improving community health outcomes. In total, we are addressing at least increased incomes and better nutrition, where women's economic empowerment simultaneously improves household income and nutritional security, a rare and powerful double dividend. Considering the case study. So, overcoming infrastructure barriers in a cluster of a small-holding farmers with no processing infrastructure and no direct market connections, women producers were selling raw commodities at exploitative prices. But by capturing almost none of their value, which value their labor created. The challenge is limited infrastructure, meant no capacity to process, store, and package fruits. And there is a lot of market disconnect, which kept farmers locked in with low margin commodity trading with no visibility into downstream pricing and consumer preferences. The solution offered was a shared processing facility where established as a community assets, eliminating the individual capital barrier. Uh, when it is supported with the technology support and hands-on training equipped women to operate equipment and manage food safety protocols, this is a solution which is going to be the final answer. When you incubate these enterprises guided from the groups into from raw production through branded marketing products, that's a solution which will be targeting, which we have been targeting to. The outcome, the participating women increased their effective income per unit sold by over 2,200% within 18 months, not only reducing their post-harvest losses by more than half. The case study two is like reviving traditional foods for modern markets. A second program cluster focused on leveraging the region's deep culinary heritage, transforming traditional recipes and locally grown ingredients into commercially viable branded product lines that appeal to health-conscious urban consumers. Nesha as a brand, it itself speaks about health and wellness. So we have developed a lot of recipes which we have been doing R&D at our in-house facility, which has helped us to move further into the advanced markets. And these millet products have been the ancient grains when the food the recipes are made from the formulations which are from the processed food of these ancient grains into modern formats. It might be a flour, it might be a ready mix, it might be a nutritional snack, having a snack of at the evening. So you can actually play around the variants from your breakfast to your dinner. So when there's a rising global demand for gluten-free foods, millets are the final grains which we need to target because they are very much high in fiber alternatives. The traditional snacks, they always play a stronger stake of the value chain because when it is a culinary heritage, everyone loves to have those recipes. When we standardize these recipes and we can ensure that they are processed under safe conditions and repackaged under consistent community brand, giving them an identity, this commands a premium retail pricing. In addition to this, the spice processing units at the village level, where they include the cleaning, grinding, and blending units produce traceable export quality spice products with measurable quality consistency. These community food brands make themselves as a brand platform that aggregate individual producers under a unified entity, enabling a market entry at scale that no single producer could achieve alone. Scaling to market linkages is again by conducting value addition programs through the structured training and equipment access, enabling communities to process raw crops into higher margin finished products, such as pickles, flours, and dry fruits and ready mixes. They have already gained. This demonstrates how value addition programs combined with strategic marketing linkages can unlock transformational income growth. This can be achieved even in remote, but cannot be done with isolated farming communities. So the branding support, it's a professional brand identity development is under process where we include naming, packaging, design, and storytelling, giving these rural products a separate stage in the value chain where they are having a compelling shelf presence in urban retail environments. As mentioned, the processing infrastructure is when it is owned by community and when these processing hubs are built with blended financing, This reduces the individual risk while ensuring shared access to food grade equipment and cold storage facilities. With structured partnerships organized with retail chains, e-commerce platforms, and export aggregators, a proper market linkage is to be ensured where replacing the exploitative middleman with transparent direct commercial relationships should be developed. The next 3 to 5 year plan for Agrighar and its ecosystem enablers like VAM and VMART Global is like we want to work on 5 transformative forces which will reshape rural food systems over the coming half decade. This is creating an unprecedented opportunities for the communities, investors, and policymakers who can act now. We are concentrating on nutritional centric foods because nutrition is a non-negotiable and which demands it is a demand-driven shift towards functional health food products rooted in traditional nutritional wisdom. We are working on climate resilient crops like millets and other products where farming systems redesigned around ecological sustainability, water efficiency, and carbon accountability. We are working on decentralized processing facilities where these communities are given the processing hubs at the village level, thereby bringing manufacturing closer to the farm and reducing the losses and the logistics cost. When all these technologies are linked with digital technologies such as AI, blockchain, and precision tools, enabling a smarter and more transparent way, this becomes the most efficient food systems, which is a dream come true now. We are emphasizing on women and youth leaderships because the next generation of rural entrepreneurs will be driving this innovation and inclusive growth. As mentioned about nutritional centric food systems, we are talking about functional foods. We are talking about nutritional snacking and a millet revolution, which will be driven by nutritional intelligence, which is the next era of food demand, which will not be driven by calories. Consumers globally are shifting towards foods that actively support health outcomes, not just sustain energy. This creates a massive, largely untapped opportunity for rural producers who have been growing the world's most nutrition crops for centuries. If they transform from producers to the processors to the brand, and when they reach out to the export markets, that is where we want to see us grow further. As mentioned about climate resilient agriculture, we want to ensure that we are talking about regenerative farming first, whereby we are trying to ensure that these farming communities and work around soil restoring practices because that's the need of the hour, which can build a long-term fertility sequester sequester carbon and also reduce external input dependency. This will also help to use the available water in a more efficient manner because we will be including the precision irrigation, rainwater harvesting, and drought-tolerant crops for the selected protecting yields through extreme weather events. This is in turn a circular economic model where a zero-waste processing models that convert agriculture byproducts into additional revenue systems from biofertilizers to animal feed and compost. We are talking about an operational reality for every rural food producers. Building resilience into farming and food systems is both an ecological necessity and a compelling economic strategy that attracts ESG-aligned capital. When the processing facilities are distributed among, when they are decentralized and distributed among the communities, when compared to distant urban factories, this has historically stripped rural communities from economic value and left them vulnerable to supply chain shocks. Now we are going to address them by developing decentralized village-level processing infrastructure, keeping value creation close to the source. And this is the decisive shift in the next decade. The solution would be the village level processing hubs and having proper infrastructure for warehousing and having a connected cold storage infrastructure, including solar power cold rooms and mobile refrigeration units, which can extend the market life of a perishable produce and eliminate seasonal price crashes. We are also opting for many renewable energy solutions like solar, biogas, and wind-powered processing operations, reducing energy costs for rural enterprises, while budding energy independence and carbon footprint accountability is also being addressed. By using the AI and smart food systems, the digital revolution is reaching the rural areas. So these emerging technologies are no longer the exclusive domain of large agribusinesses. These technologies are now more affordable and mobile friendly and very farmer friendly adaptable models where satellite analytics are connected with the blockchain platforms and now being deployed at village scale, which is a fundamentally changing what rural entrepreneurs can know, decide, and prove. The convergence of AI, traceability, and precision farming will be the defining competing advantage for next generation rural food enterprises. Um, and the other is predictive analytics, where market intelligence tools can help these rural enterprises anticipate price movements and align production to demand and reduce commodity risk exposure. Uh, thank you for giving this opportunity to brief about our journey and experience and our way forward.
Thank you, Dr. Sowmini, for sharing your valuable insights with the Global Entrepreneurs community. That was an engaging and thought-provoking presentation. I'd now like to ask you a few questions to dive a little deeper into your experience and perspective. So, with a PhD in biotechnology, you've transitioned from advanced laboratory research like genetic engineering and plant tissue culture into structural social entrepreneurship. What was the defining moment that led you to choose grassroots value creation over a traditional lucrative research career?
Thank you, Grishika, for asking that because that's my transformation point, which I call. Yeah, I've done my PhD in 2014 from Agrighar on the advanced technologies of genetic engineering, molecular biology, and fungal microbiology. But when I was working in close association with the farmers, the real challenge of next generation, absence of the next generation farmers has made me think about uh, finding a uh, finding a solution for the next generations because the research what I have carried in my academic period is going to take more than a lifetime. But these small things I can, by creating the transformation in these small things, I can see in my own lifetime. So that's where I got motivated and I've uh, transformed my career into this segment.
Thank you for sharing that perspective. So, building on to that, I'd like to move to my next question. You have a remarkable track record of federating thousands of self-help groups, women into thriving producer organizations. From a strategic operational standpoint, how do you successfully guide rural women to transition from subsistence farming into managing structured, market-ready commercial enterprises?
Yeah, this is where we are actually working on now because we are trying to address the leadership qualities in these women because that is again a key fragment which determines like me, everyone should be speaking with the confidence with the level of commitment. This is where we are working now. We are working on the leadership fragments of these communities. We are also working on their emotional and financial stabilities, where they can decide their own investments and they can decide on what they want to do in future. When I see this, it's not only about the economic empowerment, but also there is a lot of fragments which are adding to that when a woman comes forward. Adding to that, if you're asking me about the sustainability of it, women play a major role in many things. They are the unseen, strong fragments of the community, which needs recognition today. Because I have decided to come forward in last decade, so I'm here today. But if hundreds and thousands of women come to this, so that is where we can achieve this. And a lot of I know there's a lot of energies which we need to keep. We need to ensure that it is being addressed in a proper structure, and it needs its own time, it needs its own strategy, it needs its own facilitation to be done. So to guide them, we are now working towards the communities in align with their requirements, where the transition of from a proper woman to an entrepreneur is being taken care of. When it comes to farming, we are ensuring that they start up for their family growing for their own family, so that they start very small. When they see the benefit, both in their nutrition, both in their livelihood, both in their mental status and their emotional ability in deciding factors, that will be the driving factor for them to move forward. Beyond this, we also want to ensure that these farmer organizations are driven, when it is driven from the women, we saw a lot of stability and sustainability factors adding on, because they see a segment of circular economy there, where the waste coming from one thing can be utilized, and it's kind of like a distribution system for them. See, if you are talking about a small industry like ours, we talk about the grains and the seed cakes which are coming from oil units. We use them for the cakes for burning our own dals while making the dal processing. So it's kind of like a small ecosystem. What it is self-sustainable, and it is actually working on the carbon footprinting. It's also working on renewable energy systems. If you can actually, because these are the in a village grown value system. Biogas was very natural, but since we moved into the traditional gas systems, we've lost it. But why not connect back with those fragments again, and then ensure these communities drive them so that they get revenue benefit also, apart from just being the manufacturers and everything, they can see a lot of benefit which can address to that. Yes, market ready commercial enterprises is a challenge with the communities what we are working today, but it is not an unaddressable challenge. I can see a lot of aspiring women who can actually come forward and do it. Identifying them is a challenge. It's not that non-existence is not the presence, but identifying them is a challenge, and we are taking up steps for that.
That's a very interesting way to look at it. So moving on to our next question, you currently head three distinct organizations: Agrighar Services, VM, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, VM
Yeah.
and VM Mart. How do these platforms collectively from a continuous scaling engine to solve the last mile logistical and market access gridlock that smallholder farmers face?
Yeah. Uh, each entity, though, it's framed with their own activities and vision and mission, but they are connecting to the community level organizations. When it comes to Agrighar, it's concentrating on developing the infrastructure related to food, value addition, processing, and everything. So VAIM is an association which is working on establishing these entrepreneurial activities of the women. So while connecting them to a lot of mentors and everything, we are ensuring that they gain that confidence from them. While connecting to the networks of the other women, they gain the confidence of like, yeah, there are few people who have done. We just have to imbibe those qualities. And when what I feel is like when a woman is speaking to a woman, there's a lot of emotional baggages are being withdrawn, and they are more open to discuss, they are more open to access, they are more open to implement. This is a fragment where we take up from VA. And as I said, started scaling programs are going to be launched very soon, where we emphasize either a person who doesn't know anything can start their enterprise, or person who is already doing that can scale the enterprises. So this is the two fragments which we'll be doing under VA. As a marketing platform, yes, VMart plays a role, because for all the enterprises what we are building from Agrighar and VM, we need a marketplace. So it's all connected. So this year we have launched our platform as a kind of like an ecosystem under Empower. So that is what we are working. This is launched just this year. So we could consolidate certain fragments through our experiences through this Empower unit, and um, uh, we are now discussing about conducting this a national level event every year, where we are not talking about our own association members or our own network. We are also expanding to other networks of associations, other network of women, where these women can actually be a buyer of a producer of one product can be the buyer of the other, and vice versa. So this can actually play a huge role when we are talking about when women are connected with within the network, and they're entangled with a lot of products. Because as a food processor, I do buy my own clothes. I do have my own the other fragments at my home. When it is manufactured from the other women, is what. That's why in VM we don't even just concentrate on food enterprises. because this is a global food agri related. I present it, but in VM we concentrate on the other entrepreneurship also. We concentrate about health and wellness brands. We concentrate about biodegradable napkins. We talk about healthcare, human care, skin care. We talk about your refreshment teas. We talk about different portfolios of your home care of these also play a major role in your entire lifestyle. So if they are manufactured and marketed by women, yes, we have an entry point here, and we have built up this ecosystem as a segment.
Thank you for highlighting that. That leads us nicely to the next topic. So, given your executive work with Agrighar Sustainable Food Tech Foundation, how can emerging agri-tech, biotechnology, and digital platforms be better leveraged to scientifically validate, scale, and commercialize natural farming practices across emerging economies like India?
Yeah, now we have been using Agrighar Sustainable Food Tech Foundation as a platform where we are inviting CSRs and a lot of grant systems to ensure the scale plan of all the ecosystems, because these ecosystems or these individual platforms have evolved as an individual platforms. Now to build up as an ecosystem, we need to have much more synergies between the ecosystem and much more layers of partnerships and collaborations, which the foundation would address. This is kind of an ecosystem where we are developing through CSR again, because most of the CSRs have not been catered into agriculture system. So we want to take this forum as a platform to raise our voice and to ensure that CSR needs to now concentrate on rural development, and also ensure that sustainable agriculture needs to be promoted. Why? Because every one of us needs a safe food on our plate. Do we have that? No, we don't. And whoever is having it's being a very expensive stuff. So when we work with communities, we can work on the numbers, we can reduce the prices and make it affordable for a common man. This is what we want to see that sustainable agriculture addresses too. It's not like a few people who can afford for those organic food or anything can go ahead, but it's every living individual's right to gain access to that. For that, we need support from organizations, associations, the global partners, the investors. We are open to everything.
Those are some excellent points. So let's explore another important aspect. So, as an international panelist at the Global Forum for Food and Agriculture and a prominent change leader, what structural gap must global impact investors and policymakers bridge to ensure more women-led agri-businesses shift from localized operations to international cross-border trade?
Yeah, I've been fortunate, I can say, being connected to the global markets through my academic career or my next phases of my career. But when I saw the potential of a woman taking forward her, like considering me as again that person, I saw a different perspective in entire the ecosystem. Because just because I'm a woman, I could see that perspective. It's not a very new challenge what I'm talking about. It's not a very new problem what we are having. This is being the problem from age-old years. But why a woman like me can do it? So that's where I emphasize that it needs attention, it needs hand-holding, it needs support ecosystem, it needs the push-up, it needs the entire women are now ready to make the transformation. Today, we are also facing gender diversity. Sorry to say, but we are also facing a generation of people who can and cannot accept this women. So that the transition needs to be worked on. It's again the mental or emotional stability of the other gender. But we cannot say that women can individually work around. It cannot. So we need to ensure that this ecosystem also include all the genders, all the ecosystem players, and ensure that there is sustainability in the approach. It's not like we talk about women empowerment hating the male gender. No, we need to ensure that they become, because I've seen in my journey a lot of men supporting me, motivating me, and they acknowledge the effort what I keep. So that motivates, like there is an acceptance level. So this needs to be actually multiplied in a different scale. This needs to be voiced out, first of all. So I take different platforms as a opportunity and ensure that it is spoken well. But yes, today women are ready to take up the opportunities if given on the right time and the right support systems. If they are having the handholding support systems and giving them the confidence levels, yes, the women are ready now to move ahead. And there is again a gap of the ecosystem not being available, so we need to work on it. So that's again like it's in progress, what I can say.
I think that gives our audience a lot to reflect on. So
Yeah.
before we conclude, I would like to ask you, how would you be helping or contributing to this particular global entrepreneur initiative?
You name it, I'll be there.
Blessed.
But the thing is, like, see, I'm looking for scaling up in a very big level, Grishika. But yes, I need support ecosystem, what I've been talking about now. If the ecosystem is available, there is a huge opportunity for all of us. In fact, it's not only for the women, what you're talking about, it's about the nutrition of the entire country and the world. It's about creating that farming as an enterprise. Farm, because I don't say without a strong conviction, farmer is the highest risk taking person in the entire world. And he's not given that credibility, and he's not given that professional position in the entire value chain. If we can attribute him towards this agri entrepreneurship or pushing them towards a little advanced value chain, we can actually do it. So you have different layers of stages. So yes, I'm open to contribute wherever possible and whenever possible. And as I say, there's limited time, limited scope, limited things. If that opens up, yes, I need more people like me or like you or like the entire ecosystem. So we need more people. It needs to be voiced out. In fact, it's now being voiced out, but it needs to be like even it should be a buzz now. It's high time that we create a buzz regarding this and ensure that it is implemented across the world. Yes, we can implement Agrighar or VM or any other organization can partner with any kind of organization. We are open for partnerships. We are open for collaborations. In fact, the ecosystem is now looking for opportunity to scale up. So yeah, it's the world is the entire platform for us to scale up.
What an incredible masterclass of a conversation. Thank you for sharing your blueprints with us today. Your profound insights reinforce exactly why entrepreneurs exist to bridge the critical gap between commercial profitability and sustainable social impact. To everyone tuning in across our global network, whether you're an innovator, an investor, or a policymaker, the path to plugging into this unified agri-food operating system is clear. For agri-food entrepreneurs and founders, stop struggling in isolation. Fast track your venture through our customized scaling pathways, leverage our AI-driven mentor matching, and utilize our automated regulatory compliance hubs to make your business cross-border ready. For accredited investors, eliminate the noise of unvetted pipelines. Access our pre-evaluated investment-grade Nutri-business directly through our integrated virtual deal room and secure your stake in the next era of health and wellness. For industrial and academic partners, collaborate with us. Let's unlock deep tech innovation through our Global Agri-Food Nutrition Research and Development Forum and actively build a more equitable ecosystem by championing leadership at our Women in Food, Agriculture, and Nutrition Forum. Together, we can maximize our global networks and deploy decentralized common facility centers to actively drive the 40% reduction in global post-harvest food losses. The future of the global agri-food economy is no longer about survival. It is about sustainable nutrition, scientific excellence, and friction-free global trade. Visit globalnutripreneurs.com to secure your application, verify your venture, and claim your place in the future of food innovation. Thank you for joining us on Global Nutripreneurs. Until next time, keep innovating, keep scaling, and build with impact. Thank you so much, Dr. Sowmini, for joining us today.
Thank you, Grishika, for joining.
Have a good day.